on Kuf Chaf Ches, which is 128, 128a, and it's about 10 lines from the bottom of the page. It starts with the word Itmar. There's 2 dots there, a colon. Itmar, there was a statement that was made by Amirayim. Basar Maliach, meat that was salted. Mutal Tatle b'Shabbos. You're allowed to move it on Shabbos, it's not mukta. I guess the salt could cure it, and it could be edible just from the salt. Basar Tafel, if it's not salted, so then it's machlekes. It doesn't seem like we're dealing with the issue of that you have to salt meat to take the blood out. It doesn't seem like that's what our issue is. It seems like we're talking about, is it edible? Although that may come into play, but it's not necessarily so, because it turns out that although we salt our meat, but that's only because we want to cook it. If we would roast it, we wouldn't need to salt it. And if we would eat it raw, we wouldn't need to salt it. So we're talking about really, what appears is that we're talking about just if it's edible. So something that's not edible is muktzah. Why? Because it's been set aside from being used for Shabbos. Say certain vegetables that are not edible, a potato or something, till it's cooked. So unless an animal, one of the house animals would eat it, but otherwise it would be muktzah. So here, raw meat, and meat that has no salt in it, it's machlekes here. Rav Huna amar mutar l'taltler. Rav Huna says you're allowed to move it, and Rav Chisda amar asar l'taltler. Chisda says it's asar. Can you remember that? The samach in Chisda is asar. Rav Huna amar mutar l'taltler. Rav Huna says that you're allowed to move it. It's a question. Rav Huna says you're allowed to move it. For Rav Huna, Talmud the Rav Hava. Rav Huna is the student of Rav. For Rav, Rav Yehuda's fairly, and Rav holds like Rabbi Yehuda. You know, there's a famous machlekes, the Rav Masechta Shabbos. If there's a concept of muktzah, it's machlekes Rabbi Yehuda and Reb Shimon. Rabbi Yehuda holds that there's muktzah, there's set aside, and Reb Shimon holds there isn't a concept of set aside of muktzah. So if Rav holds like Rabbi Yehuda, that means that something that's not edible should be muktzah. And Rav Huna is a student of Rav. So how does Rav Huna say that you're allowed to move meat that's not salted? It's muktzah, it's set aside. The Gemara answers, b'muktzah la'achila savalak Rabbi Yehuda, b'muktzah la'tiltal savalak Reb Shimon. There's 2 aspects to the muktzah. It's set aside from eating, so you're not allowed to eat it. When it comes to just moving it, that he's more lenient, and he holds that you're allowed to move it. There's muktzah la'achila, muktzah l'tiltal. We have to go through the rest of Masechta Shabbos and see when we saw Rav holds like Rav Yehuda, if that fits. You have to go through that. Anyway, Rav Chisda amar asar l'taltal. Rav Chisda says you're not allowed to move it. But Rav Yitzchak Barami yikol l'bei Rav Chisda. Is that really so? But Rabbi Yitzchak Barami was at the house of Rav Chisda. He saw there was a duck, and I guess it was shechted, and they were bringing it from the sun into the shade on Shabbos. It's going to go bad. There's a loss here. You're allowed to move it. You're not allowed to move mukta for a loss. So what are we saying over here? It must be that it's not muktzah. Now, Rav Chisda was the one that held that if the meat isn't salted, then it's asur to move. And here we see that he goes and he moves the duck. So Shani Baravza Dechazilom. This is different. This duck is edible even when it's raw, even without being salted. Regular meat is not edible raw, but duck is edible raw. That's what we're saying. Taner Rabbanan. Stood in a brisa. Dog maliach mutal letaltlei. Dog tafel asel letaltlei. Fish needs to be salted. If it's not salted, you can't move it. There's no concept of
Why did he say
sushi.
Why did he say chishron kis if it's edible?
Chesron kis meant that it was going to go bad in the sun. So
But
he's
if it's
telling them to
edible, you
move
could
it.
move it like anything. It's edible food. You could move it.
I don't know if the chesron kis was the heter to move it. I think he was commenting that if you don't move it, it was going to go bad. Here, you could have left that out also.
Could have totally left the chishron
Right.
kis. It's edible food.
So the way Rashi puts it is that the reason why we had to mention that chesron kis was the people from Rav Chizda's house were moving it. So, but that doesn't mean that's Rav Chizda's shita. So they said no. They were moving it by Rav Chizda's command because Rav Chizda said it's going to go bad. So you see that Rav Chizda holds that you're allowed to move it because they were moving it because he said so. Here, it's not perfect, but okay. When it comes to fish, then no one holds that raw fish is edible. Yeah, there goes the sushi. Basar bein tafel bein maliach matal taltlei. However, meat, according to this brisa, you're allowed to move, whether it's salted or not. And the Gemara has over here this. They take it out, but stomach Reb Shimon. This brisa would go like Reb Shimon. Now, there's a little bit of an issue over here, because if it's Reb Shimon, then why can't you move the fish? Reb Shimon doesn't hold the muktzah. Should be allowed to move anything, even if raw fish. There's no concept of muktzah. There's no such thing as set aside. Tosfos asks this question. He says that even Reb Shimon that doesn't hold of muktzah still holds of muktzah, slightly. There needs to be have some use that's not actually relevant. So in other words, over here it would be fit for a dog. Raw meat could be fit for a dog, but raw fish isn't even fit for a dog. That's what he says. Okay. You might have to take out the stomach of Reb Shimon, like his next teretz. Okay, now the Gemara says, Taner Rabbanan was taught in a brisa. You're allowed to move bones. You can't eat the bones. But the dogs eat the bones, so it has some purpose, and it's not considered muktzah. Also tefuach. This is meat that's spoiling. That you're allowed to move, because the animals will eat it. The wild animals. Maya megulim, what about water that was left open overnight? It's exposed water. We know that that's an issue. You're allowed to move that as well because the cats will drink from it. And Reb Shimon ben Gamliel says, no, you should not leave it around even. It's dangerous. Someone could drink from it. It's not allowed to be left around. Okay, that was the brisa. Now we have a Mishnah. It says, you're allowed to take a basket, which is not muktzah, and turn it over, and so that the chickens can jump up and down to their place wherever they need to get to, and this helps them move. It's like a ladder. No, doesn't seem to be much of a chiddush. A basket, you're allowed to move a basket anyway. The chiddush here is that there is an opinion that says that you're not supposed to move an item which is not muktzah for the benefit of something that is muktzah. Now here, since the chickens are muktzah, other than what you need specifically to feed them or whatever, maybe you don't even have to feed them. Nevertheless, you're allowed to move a basket for them so that they should be able to jump up to get to their place. So you're moving a basket for something that's muktzah. Tarnagoyla shabarcha. If a chicken ran out of its area, so doichanai such that kind of you can push it with your hands till it goes back in. There's the issue here of also carrying. We're saying that pushing it is not considered carrying. The Gemara is going to discuss if it means in a chutzner, if it means in a carmelis or a shesarabim. We'll see in the Gemara. Midadin agolim mesiyachim. You can help these young calves. And what are the siyachim? Are they young something? You can help them walk. It's not considered carrying because they're still putting their feet in front. You're just helping them with moving their feet. Isha medadas b'na, a woman can help her child walk. That's only if the child is actually lifting up a foot and putting down a foot, lifting up a foot and putting down a foot. You can help him walk, but you can't drag him. It's dragging, that would be carrying. Okay, we'll see. There's more leniencies with the child. Yeah, there's always an issue with the children on Shabbos if there's no way to. They try to do this thing. You let them jump, and then the parents sort of like carry them by the arms and they jump. But yeah, okay, it's troublesome when you're in the middle of the street and they decide they're not walking, and there's no Erev. Amar Rabbi Yehuda Amar Rav. Rabbi Yehuda says, "Name of Rav Behema Shenaf Lamas Amayim." The animal fell into a stream of water. Maybe karamuksasis aminach tachta. You can bring pillows and blankets and put it under. Malsa also, and you can help it go up. If it goes up, then good. Okay. You're allowed to put them in the water. Sounds like it's laundering. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Usually you're not supposed to put cloth in water. The Gemara has a different question. It says, Meisvei, we learned before, Behema shenaf lama samai, Meisle parnasa b'makayma, b'shul shlei tamas. An animal that fell into a stream of water, actually we didn't learn a stream of water, we learned about a pit. If it falls into a stream of water, you bring food for it. B'shul shlei tamas, so that it doesn't die. Now, the understanding from that is parnasa in karmuksas is light, that you're allowed to bring food, but it doesn't say you can bring pillows and blankets to help it get up. To raise the level, make a little island for it so it should get out. So it's like kasha. Depends. If you bring the food, will it be able to survive? Then you bring the food. If it can't survive with that food, maybe the water will wash it away or whatever. So then you help it get out. After beparnasa in, Eily, maybe karmuksas is. You put the pillows and blankets under it, and it's going to be able to climb out. Gemara asks, once you put this in the water, so you can't get it out of the water. Why can't you get it out of the water? I don't know. The Gemara is asking that. We had an issue once before with putting a tray under oil lamp to catch the oil. We said you mevatal keli meichanai. That what's going to go into it is the oil that drips is going to make the tray muktzah. Rashi said before it's as if you're cementing the tray down. Here Rashi says that it's as if you're destroying it because you can't use it for the rest of Shabbos because it becomes muktzah. So here, when you put these cloths, these cushions into the water to help the animal get up, you're putting it there in a way that you won't be able to remove it. And you mevatal keli meichanai. If you can't remove it for the rest of Shabbos, So it's as if you're destroying it. So the Gemara says, Savar mevatel kelim yechanim miderabanan. That's only a rabbinic law. And Tzar Belechaim deraisa. But the suffering animal, that's a biblical law, not to cause animal suffering. So we violate, we overlook the derabanan to be able to fulfill the deraisa. This is for the animal's comfort. It should be able to get out. Vasi deraisa v'dachi derabanan. The deraisa pushes off the derabanan. Okay, I'm not sure what the mevatel kelim yechan is. Maybe because they're going to be wet, you couldn't move them. Maybe because it's just practical. It's going to be too deep down to get it out. I don't know. Okay. Tanagela shabarcha. If this chicken was running away, so the Gemara says that what are you allowed to do to get it back in? It says you're allowed to push it back in. Deichen in midadin lai. It says you can push it, but to help it to walk, that you can't do. Tanin Allah de Taner Rabbanan. We was taught in a Mishnah what was taught in the Brisa. The Brisa says midadin behim chayav oif b'chatzer. That you can help an animal walk in the courtyard. That means you help it go 1 foot after another. Avaleyas Tanagailas. It says clearly, but you can't do that to the Tanagailas. Tanagailas, my time alai. Why not? It says Amarabaya mishum de mekafia nafsha. Because it lifts itself up. It's talking about probably a chutzah without an erev. Because it jumps up, it lifts itself up. When you think that you're helping it walk, you're actually carrying it. It's actually not putting its feet down. When you're going to try to help it move its feet, it's going to be jumping, and you're going to end up carrying it. So an animal would do the walking, and that's fine. But a chicken is going to end up, you're going to end up carrying it. One brisa taught that you can help an animal, a wild animal and a bird, walk in a chatzar, but not in a Rosh Hashanah. However, a woman can help her child walk in a public area, one step after the other, but not and for sure in a courtyard. If you can do it in a public area, for sure in a courtyard. Tanyidach, I have another brisa that says, you can't lift them off the ground, the animals, in a courtyard. But you can push them to come in. We're quoting this to make a contradiction. But here it says you can push them to come in. It didn't say you can walk them. The first brisa says you can walk them, assist them in the walking. It says, 1 second, before you ask that question, first let's take a look at the second brisa itself. Hagufa kasha. The second brisa is self-contradictory. Amrit einekrin. One says, at the beginning he said that you can't lift it off the ground. Aval dedui midadinan, but you can help it walk. Okay. Hadar amrit, but then you say, deichenin midadin. You said you're allowed to push it in. You didn't say you're allowed to help it walk. That means that you're not allowed to help it walk. So there's a diukim saisrim. From the reisha, you're not allowed to lift it up, that tells me, okay, you can't lift it up, but you can make it walk. From the sefer that says you can push it, sounds like you can push it, but you can't make it walk. So the implications are contradictory. Rabbi says, no. The end of the brisa that says you're allowed to push it is not talking about all the animals. It's only talking about a chicken. Where by a chicken, you're only allowed to push it in. You're not allowed to make it walk. Rabbi says, Haiman d'shachet tarnagelas. Someone is slaughtering a chicken, kavshina l'kari ba'ara. You have two options. Either you push it down to the ground, and you hold it there on the ground so it can't get its feet to push against the ground because it's like folded up. Inami nedelu medel, or you lift it off the ground entirely. The dilma manach letufri ba'ara. If you leave it on the ground, like slightly on the ground like that, so then it could put its claws, its feet into the ground, bakal simane, and it could interrupt the shchita Instead of doing a proper shechita, because of that, the jolting that it does, it could you end up doing akar, which is instead of cutting, is pulling the simanim, pulling the pipes out of the area. Okay. Rashi points out, why are we allowed to walk a child in a Rosh Hashanah, and the other things were only in a chutzner? It says, because what's going to happen? Even if you're going to end up carrying the child, but a child, a living person carries himself. So that's there's an extra leniency with a child to help a child walk, even if it's a real Rosh Hashanah. Okay. Mishnah says, Ein miyaldanas behema b'yamtiv. You can't do the birthing of an animal on Yom Tov. Aval mesaden, but you're allowed to assist. So I guess the birthing itself would be to actually take the animal and pull it out, take the calf, pull it out of the animal. Yeah, I from what I read from whatever books about stories of farms, that was a big job the farmers had. It was helping the animals give birth. They're pulling, and it was big ordeal. So, but you can assist it. This is we're talking about on Yom Tov, which will also play out on Shabbos. Miyaldanas isa b'Shabbos. A woman, you're allowed to do the birth. Not the birthing mother. We're talking about someone assisting the midwife is allowed to, help the baby come out. And you can get a midwife to come from another place. And you violate the Shabbos for the birth. The umbilical cord, you can tie it. Rashi said, if you don't tie it, the stomach could come out. Rabbi says you're even allowed to cut it. After they tie it, they cut it. You're allowed to cut it as well. And you're allowed to do everything that's necessary for the milah, for the bris. You're allowed to do on Shabbos. That we're going to learn more about in the next perek. The Gemara asks straight away, Ketzan Mesadin, what do you do? How do you help the animal give birth? He said we weren't allowed to do the birth itself, but you're allowed to help the animal. Rabbi Yehuda, you help it so it doesn't fall. Usually it's on the ground anyway. Maybe it's next to a pit or something. So you help it shouldn't fall. Usually Rav Nachman is more lenient here. He says, no, you don't pull the animal out, but you're allowed to push the mother, the flesh of the mother, so that there should be an opening for the child, for the calf to come out. Tani Kavaseder Rabbi Yehuda. You have a support for Rabbi Yehuda. It says, Ketzan Mesadin, how do you help assist in the birth? You grab the calf so it doesn't fall on the ground. You can blow into the nostrils to take out the mucus. And you can put the udder, here it's talking about an animal, the udder into the calf's mouth so that it should nurse. And that probably helps with the healing of the mother as well. But definitely for the child. Reb Shimon ben Gamliel. Shimon ben Gamliel says, Merachman hayinu ala behimater b'yom tov. We would cause the mother's compassion to go on to the child. Apparently, sometimes the mother can give birth and then it rejects the baby. So Reb Shimon, that would be a problem. The calf would die. So Reb Shimon ben Gamliel said we would cause the mother's love to be awakened, aroused for the child on Yom Tov. Hechi of it. What would they do? How would they do that? What's the trick? Amar Rabbi says maybe bull shel melach. They take a fistful of salt. They put it in the womb. It doesn't sound like it's going to feel good. So that it should feel pain, the labor, and that when it remembers the labor, it's going to have compassion for the calf. And the mizalfen meishilya al gabi vlad kadesha triach rechav terachim alav. You can also sprinkle the water from the placenta onto the calf. The mother will smell the calf smell the water from the placenta, and then it will that causes the mother to take back the calf. Where it says v'daf ketayra, this is only by a kosher animal. You're allowed to do this on Yom Tov. Avol tamei alai, but for a non-kosher animal, you're not allowed to. This is very interesting. What's the difference? For food, it's not enough of a reason. My timer, what's the reason for this? The Gemara answers, tamei alai marachka. First of all, a non-kosher animal won't reject the calf. And if it does, and if it does reject it, it won't take it back. Very interesting. I don't know the lesson from this, but a kosher animal could reject the calf, but with these techniques, it will take it back. And a non-kosher animal, it's either yes or no. There's no return. Okay. Miyaldanas isha. You can help. You can do the birthing for the mother.
Rabbi, I think the Chassidus in there is that Hashem always will allow Bnei Yisrael to return, because we're His kosher chosen, whereas the others, there comes to a point where they could not return, like Yimas HaMashiach won't be accepted. I don't know. Just making that up.
Okay, very good. Very good. Very good. Moshe says he agrees. All in favor, say aye. Okay. It says, there's a brisa that says like this, Tana. Tanale, it was taught, it says that you can also be Mechal Shabbos. What are you coming to include with that? There's a bunch of phrases over there. It's coming to include what the sages taught. Let's say they need a candle lit. Her friend, Dula, whatever, can light the assistant can light the candle for her. She needs oil. Oil then was like to massage the skin. Then the friend can go and bring oil on the hand. That would mean that they would put it in the cup in their hand. They make like a cup, pour oil in. They would bring it. Maybe a basara. If that's not enough or not able to, then she could put it into the hair. Put oil into her hair, and then she would come and get to the place where the birthing mother is. They would squeeze the oil out. If that's not enough, or if that's not able, maybe then you can bring it regular. We're looking for ways of doing this in a more abnormal fashion. Amar Mar, Gemara is going to discuss about squeezing out the hair if that's an issue on Shabbos. Amar Mar was taught. If she needs a candle, the friend can light the candle. 1 second. Talking about a dangerously ill person here. She's in the middle of giving birth. As natural as it is, but there's a sakana. There's danger. Where it says, Pshita, obviously you can light the candle. It says, Leitzricha Basuma. Talking about the woman giving birth is blind. Usher could have thought that maybe she's blind, so it's forbidden to light the candle. It still relaxes her. She knows the candle's lit. Why? Savra, she thinks, if there is any need, at least my assistant will be able to see it. Assistants will be able to see it, and that relaxes her. Even if the assistants themselves claim they don't need the candle, maybe the moon is shining, whatever, but she wants to make sure that everything's going to go well. So to calm her down, they light a candle, even though she herself doesn't need the candle. She just thinks that the other people in the room would do a better job if there's a candle lit. Okay, now it says, we were looking for a chiddush. The chiddush is that she herself doesn't need it. If she needs oil, so they bring it in their hand or in the hair or in a keli. Gemara says, 1 second. You made a big deal about carrying. You want them to carry in an abnormal way, that they shouldn't carry oil in a vessel. But putting it in the hair, you have another malacha, squeezing. Not let it do juicing. Even though this is not an original schita, but nevertheless it's in the hair and it's caught in the hair and you're going to squeeze it out. Rabbi and Rabbi Yosef both say there's no such thing as schita by hair. You're allowed to squeeze hair. It's not really caught inside. It's not really absorbed inside. It's just caught. It's not absorbed into it. I mean, that's probably what absorbed is as well, that it's caught. But it happens to be that the hairs are straight, and it's not like in a sponge or something. Ravashi says, even if you hold that there is such a thing as chita besar, that there's a problem of squeezing hair on Shabbos. So, here we're not talking about putting the oil in the hair. Here we're talking about putting the keli, the utensil that's holding the oil in the hair. The kamadef shalishni machine. You want to make a shinoi. You don't want, even though you're allowed to violate Shabbos, but you don't have to do it in a regular way. You should do it in an abnormal way as much as possible. It's interesting. That must be that because of the opinion that Shabbos is d'chuya. So machlekes if Shabbos is hutra or d'chuya by pikuach nefesh. Does Shabbos become totally permissible, or is it just pushed off? If you say it's totally permissible, then you don't have to do any changes. There's no Shabbos. But if you say it's just pushed off, then Shabbos is there, and you should try to minimize whatever malachas you're doing. It must be that we try to minimize whatever malachas we're doing. That's what it seems. I'm Rabbi Mishmol. Chaya Kolzman Shakever Pesuach. We're going to have a few stages here of when a birthing mother is in danger. So it's over here. It says while the uterus is opened. So which we have to see how long that is. There's a certain amount of days that she's considered in danger after she gives birth. So while the uterus is open, Bein Amar Tzrichani, Bein Lo Yamar Tzrichani, Bein Amar Eini Tzricha. That's another version here. During this time, whether the mother says that she needs something that's Chil Shabbos, or the mother doesn't say that, Mechal Nalas Shabbos, we ignore the mother. It's not her, we don't take her opinion here. There's a danger. And the professionals, whatever, the midwives, they're going to decide if there's, even if she says, no, don't worry, I'm fine, it's not necessary. That she's in a danger, we don't take her opinion. Nista makever, once it closes, the uterus closes up. Bein amar tzrichani, bein lo yamar tzrichani, whether she says, I need something that would be Chil Shabbos, or whether she says that I don't need, that would be obvious. Ein mechal a Shabbos. You don't violate the Shabbos fair. We're going to see different opinions here. This is the way, this brisa, I'm sorry, it's not a brisa, it's a statement from Rabbi Yehuda Amar Shmuel. Ravashi masni hachi. That's the way Ravashi taught it. Ravashi taught it that it's yes or no. There's a time when the uterus is open, where you're machal Shabbos even if she says she doesn't need. There's a time when it's closed, where you're not machal Shabbos even if she says she does need. Black and white. Marzutra masni hachi. Marzutra has this statement, but he has it a little different. Rabbi Yehuda, Amar Shmuel. There's more gray area here. Rabbi Yehuda says the name of Shmuel Chaya, a birthing mother, calls man shakever pesuch while the uterus is open. Bein Amar tzricha, ani bein Amar ina tzricha, ani machal nalas Shabbos. Whether she says she needs the chil Shabbos, the desecration of Shabbos or not, we desecrate the Shabbos for her. Make sure she has whatever she needs. Nista makever, once it closes up, then there's a difference. Amra tzrichani mechal nalas Shabbos. If she says she needs, then we take her opinion and we desecrate the Shabbos for her. If she says she doesn't need, if she doesn't say ein mechal nalas Shabbos, then you don't desecrate the Shabbos for her. So he has the statement, but he has a leniency that even after the uterus is closed, if she claims that she needs assistance, you machal Shabbos for her. Amalei Ravina le'Merema. Ravina says to Merema, Marzutra masni l'kula v'Rashi masni l'chumrei. So come on, we have two opinions here. We have Marzutra and Ravashi. Who does the halacha go like? Which means if a woman, the uterus is already closed, but she claims that she needs assistance, are you machal Shabbos for her? According to Ravashi, no. According to Marzutra, yes. Amalei halacha k'Marzutra. We go like Marzutra. Why? Safek nefashos lahakal. Whenever there's a doubt about a matter of life and death, you always go lenient. That means you always violate the Shabbos. You're strict about pekuach nefesh. You're lenient in the loss of Shabbos to save a life. Yeah, I guess the way to remember that is that Shabbos will be another Shabbos, but the life, that's either you take care of it or you have one chance there. So that's a way to remember it. I think the logic though was a little different. The logic was that Chal of Shabbos Achas Kadesh Yishmer Shabbos Harbe. Right? Violate one Shabbos so that you should be able to observe many. Okay. When is the uterus open? We have to say when it closes. But first, let's say when it opens, when the laws of that you can violate the Shabbos for. Amar Abaya, Misha Sheteshav ala Mashber. From when she sits on the birthing stool. Probably means when she can't move anymore because she sits down and then she's in labor. It's like active labor where she can't move. Rav Huna Breder Rav Yeshua Amar Misha Shadam Shesis V'Yered, when she's bleeding, when the blood is flowing. Yeah, it's a little less before she sits on the mashber. It says when her friends are walking her by her elbows, they're holding her while they're assisting her to walk. So she can't do that on her own. So that is already the time when the uterus is open. They didn't measure it then by millimeters or something. They used other ways. Admasai psichas hakever. How long is it open? Amar Abaya shleishi yamim. Abaya says 3 days. Rav Amar Mishmei de Rav Yehuda. Rav says the name of Rav Yehuda. Shiva, he says 7 days. Amar Lashleishim. Some say it's 30 days. Okay, big machlaikas. From 3 to 30. And 7 in the middle. Amri Nardai divided it up like this. He said, Chaya Gimel Zayin Valamed. We have these 3 times, and each one has its own set of halachas. 3 days, 7 days, and 30 days. By the Gimel, by 3 days, whether she says she needs help or not, Shabbos, you violate the Shabbos for her. She's considered dangerously ill, and you violate Shabbos for her. Zion, once it's 7 days, which means from 3 to 7, if she says she needs something, yes, you can violate the Shabbos. If she says I don't need, then you don't violate the Shabbos. Then Lamed, once it's 30 days, after 30 days, even if she says she's not dangerously ill, you don't violate the Shabbos. But you can still do things for her through a non-Jew. In other words, you're not supposed to tell a non-Jew to do work for you on Shabbos. But if someone is ill, even if it's not dangerously ill, but you're allowed to get a guy, a non-Jew, to do that work on Shabbos for you. Like Ravula said in the name of Rabbi Eily, that any needs for a sick person you're allowed to do on Shabbos. What does that mean? I know you just have a non-Jew called the doctor for things like that. Rav Hamnuna, maybe to drive you to the doctor. Like Rav Hamnuna says, Davar she'ein bei sakana, omer lenachir v'oseh. Even something that's not a matter of danger, it's not a danger to the life, but it's still a chayla. So then you can you tell a non-Jew to do for you. Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel. Rav Yehuda says the name of Shmuel. L'chaya lamed yom l'may hilchasa. If she's not in danger after 30 days, so what's this concept of 30 days? What's the relevance of it? Until day 3, she's considered a chayla sheyesh beisakana. Mechalna la Shabbos. You desecrate the Shabbos. From 3 to 7, it depends if she says that she needs it. From 3 to 7. From 7 to 30. From 7 to 30, then you don't violate the Shabbos for her, but use a non-Jew. After 30, what is that significant? So, Amri Nardoi Latvila. He said in Nardoi that it's for the use of the mikveh. She has to be careful until 30 days that not to use the mikveh if it's cold. Amar Rava, we'll see in a moment what this means. Rava says, La Yamar Ela Shein Bai Le'ima. That's only if her husband isn't there. She shouldn't use the mikveh for taharis. Nassan spoke about this, for things that are things that are holy. So she needs to use the mikveh before she touches them, truma or whatever. That she shouldn't do if it's before 30 days. If her husband is there, then that's a different story. The husband will warm her, afraid that she's going to catch a cold. She's going to go into the water. But if she's with her husband, the husband will warm her body. The daughter of Rav Chizda went to the mikveh, I guess after her birth, within 30 days. Her husband wasn't there. Her husband was Rava. And Rami Bar Chama. The first husband was Rami Bar Chama. Second husband was Rava. And Vitztanis, she got cold. And they brought her bed to Rava, who was in Pumbedisa. Rava was in Mechuzah most of the time, but apparently was in Pumbedisa as well. I thought the yeshiva of Pumbedisa moved to Mechuzah when Rava was there. But anyway, whatever the case is, there's two ways of reading this Gemara. One way is that they brought her to her husband so her husband could warm her. On a bed, they brought her. The other way is that they brought her coffin to her husband, that she didn't make it. This would be that Gemara in Brachos that we had, where the dream interpreter said, the doorstep of the house or something collapsed. He said that meant Rava's wife was going to die, which was the daughter of Rav Chizda, and Rava never forgave him for that. So doesn't say over there how she died. And if that's the pshat in this Gemara, now we have the rest of the story. She died after childbirth. She got a cold after the mikveh. If that's the pshat, it doesn't say that. Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel. Rav Yehuda says, name of Shmuel, Eisem Medur L'chai b'Shabbos. He says that you can make a fire for a birthing mother on Shabbos. Apparently he says for a birthing mother, but not for a sick person. And it says, there was a parenthesis there. that said B'meisa Geshamim during the winter. B'meisa Geshamim, B'meisa Chamalai. That's only during the winter. They are allowed to do this, but not during the summer. Where it says, I don't know if I'm supposed to read this as a parenthesis here, but it's not so. Doesn't matter. You always do this. It doesn't matter if it's a birthing mother or a sick person. Doesn't matter. Summer, winter. You make the fire. Mida itmar, from the fact that it was stated. Amar Rav Chia bar Rav and Amar Shmuel, a statement in the name of Shmuel. Hikaz dam. Someone did bloodletting. When it's done in after bloodletting, was donating plasma. Blood or whatever. In those days they did it. Bloodletting was a cure, and he gets cold. So you can make a fire even in Tammuz, even in July, even in the summer. Shmuel, he did bloodletting, and they couldn't find firewood. So tzolchale taktika deshaga. They broke a low table. Taka. There's a table. They broke a table to burn it. And shaga is either an ivory or teak. It's probably this type of wood. It's very expensive wood. They broke that just to burn it. Rav Yehuda tzalchalei p'ser d'yaina. Rav Yehuda, they broke a wood. It's called ebony wood. It's also an expensive wood. That they broke a table of this ebony wood. L'Rabba tzalchalei sharshifa. They broke a bench. As they needed firewood, and it's so important to get warmed after bloodletting, that they took these expensive furniture to burn, so that they should get warm. Amalei Abaya l'Rabba v'ka'avar mar mishum bal tashchis. This is a famous Gemara. Abaya says to Rabbi, his teacher, he raised him. He said, "But it's bal tashchis. You're destroying good stuff. You're not allowed to destroy good things." Amalei bal tashchis to gufay odifli. Bal tashchis of my body is more important. So everything that you have is for your health. Right? That's the most important. Rav Yehuda Rav. Rav Yehuda says the name of Rav Leila Minkadam Kurs Beisei Vikach Menolim L'Raglav. Oh, the shoe stores love this Gemara. A person should sell the roof of his house and needs to buy shoes for his feet. Shoes are very important according to the Gemara. It has to do with work. A person can't really work if he doesn't have shoes. Hikis dam, but to emphasize how important it is to have to take care of yourself after bloodletting. So if a person who does bloodletting, he doesn't have what to eat. He should sell his own shoes. And he should buy food. My terchisud. What are necessities for the meal? Rav Amar Basar. Rav says he needs to have meat. Shmuel, we'll see why. Shmuel Amar Yayin. Shmuel says he needs to have wine. Rav Amar Basar. Rav says meat. Nafsha chalaf nafsha. Look, he lost some of his own soul. To replace it with meat. Meat would bring it back. Shmuel Amar Yayin Sumka Chalaf Sumka. Shmuel says wine is red, that will exchange for the red blood that he lost. Okay, Siman Shenimsar. I guess that's an acronym for the names here. I guess the first one is Shmuel, a mnemonic. Shmuel b'yem David Milsa avlei tavshil detachli. Shmuel, when he did bloodletting, they would prepare for him a meal of spleen. Yes, cook up the spleen of an animal. Rabbi Yechanan shasi adenafik tia meune. Oh, you have to tell this to Elchanan. Rabbi Yechanan would drink until the smell of wine would come out of his ears. That smelled like wine. Rav Nachman shasi ad the coffee tachli. Rav Nachman would drink until his spleen would float in the wine. Rav Yosef shasi ad the nafik merivda the kusilta. Rav Yosef would drink so much until the wine would start spilling out of the incision that was made by the bloodletting. It's really interesting. Chassidus, right? One of the Rabbeim, he said he'd cut his arm. Chassidus would come out. Rava Mahadar Achamra Bar Tlasa Tarfi.
Rabbi,
yeah.
Nichnas Yayin Yotzesod. Wasn't really meant for this.
So Rava would look for a wine that was aged, that there were 3 sets of leaves would have grown on the vine since this wine was taken off, since the plus a tarfi, 3 leaves. It means it's 3 seasons later. Amalu Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak LeRabbanan. Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak says to his students, Rabbanan usually in the Gemara means the students, I beg of you, on the day of bloodletting, tell your wives, that your teacher, Nachman, is coming. They should prepare you a meal, because it's very important. And he says, we're going to see, I'm not sure if he's going on this trick or on the next one that he's going to say. He says, you're not allowed to trick people, but and that's always forbidden, except for this instance. And now he goes further. He says an instance where you're tricking people. Man David Milsa, someone that did bloodletting, he doesn't have the means to have the necessities for afterwards. Today they serve you some juice or something after you donate blood. They give you some orange juice or something. What should you do? And you need to have the food afterwards. Lishkol Zuzamaki, you take a bad coin. V'lezel l'shev chanusa, you go to 7 stores. Go in, you say, I want to buy wine. So they say, okay, which one? You taste. You take a taste. Ad the time shir reviusa, until you tasted a revius. Now, what happens is every store you go into, you say, yeah, I want this wine. Here's the coin. They say, no, we don't take that coin. It's a bad coin. It's, okay, well, thanks for the taste. And you go to the next store, and you do that 7 times until you've drank revius. People do this in ice cream stores. So, Eily, if he doesn't have disease, so lechol shev tamar yochmasa, you eat 7 black dates. V'leisha mishcha b'tzdi, you rub oil on the temples. V'nigve b'shimsha, nigne b'shimsha, and then you lay in the sun. Avlet. Avlet was apparently a non-Jewish scholar. He was a friend of Shmuel. We had him in other places. Remember, in Chulin or other places we had him. Avlet askechei l'Shmuel degane b'shimsha. He finds Shmuel is laying in the sun. Amalei Hakima diyudai, says Jewish scholar. Bishami avitava, does bad turn into good? Because the sun is harmful. I'm not sure what he meant in those days, the sun being harmful, probably because you get dehydrated in the sun. I mean, we have verses in the Torah that say the sun is healing, right? Shemesh tzedakah marpe. He says the sun is harmful. What good? Can you really get good from the sun? Amalei Yomi kazu, I did bloodletting, so I need to sit in the sun. Another, I guess, because after bloodletting, a person gets cold, he needs to get warmer. He says, that's actually not the truth. What really happened, there's one day of the whole year that the sun is healthy. It's the beginning of the summer solstice, where the beginning of the summer, the first day. And you want to tell this to Avlet, you want to reveal the secret to Avlet, who was a non-Jewish scholar. Hikel Beruach Taimesha Simon. There's okay.
At Aleph Tammuz, is it a specific date?
1 second, I don't hear. 1 second. Tell me again.
Is it Aleph Tammuz? Is it a specific date?
Oh, I don't know if it's Aleph Tammuz because it's really a month and then 2 half months. It's Tkufas Tammuz.
Curious.
Yeah, you have to divide the day. No, it's got to be 3 months. It's got to be.
Summer
It's 3
solstice
months.
goes by the English calendar.
Yeah, it's a 3 months.
So
It's not 2.5
it-
months. It's 3 months. But it could be. It's
Process.
right. It's like the December 5th was the winter, right?
Here he's saying it's Yama. That's one day. So I'm
Right. It's only that day that the sun is good. Okay, let me do another line. Rabbi Shmuel Damri Tavaya Kol Hamekel Besudas HaKazas Dam. Anyone that takes lightly this meal that's so important, Mikin Lem is a nice min hashemayim. Then they take away his sustenance from heaven. If he doesn't care for himself, I'm going to care for him. You have to take care of yourself. Rabbi Shmuel Damri Tavaya Haiman David Milsa Leilesiv Hechad the Karach Sika. You should not go into a place where the wind blows. Maybe the bloodletter took out so much blood, he left you with just the minimal amount of a revius of dam, left the person. Vasizika, the wind will come, and a little blood will get removed from the wind. Vaside sakana. Could be dangerous. Shmuel haviragil va'avid milsa bebesa the shav levina va'aricha. Shev levina va'aricha. Shmuel, after bloodletting, would sit in a house that had 7 bricks and then a half a brick. Yomi achada, one day, in other words, he really needed protection from the wind after play. One day, Avid va'argish benafshei felt weaker. Something's going on. Badak v'chasach hadaricha was missing the half a brick. Okay, let's leave it over there. So let's stop.